Signifier and signified. Two terms that sound like the names of two uranium-enriched explosive devices, but are actually really simple to understand and honestly quite interesting. Today, I'm here to explain these terms to you and to show you how these concepts make a difference to your understanding of language, literature, and the world. Welcome everybody, let's begin the lecture. First of all, let's play a little game. For the next 5 seconds, look at these two words, signifier and signified, carefully. Go on, take your time. Did you see anything common between the two? If you said the word sign, then congratulations. You've just cracked the code to understanding the terms signifier and signified. These words are just difficult sounding, scary looking versions of a simple concept, which is the sign, S-I-G-N, sign. And turns out that this word, sign, was one of the most favorite words of the brilliant 20th century Swiss linguist Ferdinand de Saussure, who, with his amazing lectures in linguistics, completely changed how we think about language. He introduced this idea in his amazing lectures, which his students compiled after his death and published it as a book called Course in General Linguistics. Saussure's ideas were so revolutionary that they gave birth to the movement called Structuralism, which changed the way we approached language, literature, philosophy, anthropology, cultural studies, and whatnot. Saussure took the concept of a sign and divided it into signifier and signified. But why did he do it? Were things not fine before him? Well, before Saussure, people for centuries understood language in just one boring and perhaps inaccurate way. They thought that words had a fixed origin and a natural built in meaning. This approach was called the historical approach or the etymological approach, where to study a word, you just traced it back to its origins. For example, the word democracy came from the Greek demos, which meant the people, and kratos, that means power or rule. So it was the rule of people. Similarly, the word astronomy came from Greek astron, which meant stars, and nomos, which meant law or arrangement, which means the arrangement of stars, and that was called astronomy. It all looked very neat, tidy, historical, as if words carried their truth from the beginning of time to the present. But then came Saussure, and he basically said, wait a minute, this is not how it works. Words do not have a natural built in meaning. They get their meaning in a completely different way. And he said that a word is actually a sign which has two sides. One side is the signifier, and the other side is the signified. The signifier is the physical part of the sign. It's the sound that you make when you say a word or the formation of letters you see when you write the word down. For example, the four letters VASE, the letters you see on the page, or the sound that you hear when someone says vase is a signifier. The form of the word is the signifier. And signified is the concept, the idea, or the mental image that the signifier brings to your mind. When I say the signifier vase, you get the mental image, mental picture of a fancy container for flowers. And that mental image is the signified. So the word dog, D-O-G, dog, is the signifier, and the image of a furry, four-legged creature that wags its tail when it's happy, that image is the signified. The word river is the signifier, and the image of a water body flowing beautifully is the signified. Simple, right? But here's where it gets wild. Saussure said that the relationship between the signifier and the signified is completely arbitrary. There is no logical reason why the word vase should refer to the object, that flower container. There's nothing about the sound vase or the letters VASE that naturally means flower holder. Human beings, especially English speaking human beings, just agreed that this is what we are going to call this, and that agreement has followed, and now the thing has taken up the name called vase. So the process of meaning making is entirely through social agreement. We decide what to call a thing and then we call it that. Think about it. We could have easily decided to call a vase a flower for something. It sounds ridiculous now only because we've been using the word vase for so long that it feels natural and perfect. It just feels right. But Saussure would tell you that it's just because of centuries of use, centuries of human agreement, that we think that the sound of vase stands for the flower container. Okay? So if words don't get their meaning naturally, where do they get their meaning from? Saussure's answer is mind blowing. He said that meaning comes from difference. Every single signifier gets its meaning by virtue of being different from other signifiers. In other words, a word means something because it doesn't mean something else. Now, I know it sounds completely mind boggling, but it's actually very simple to understand. Cat is a cat because it's not a hat, mat, tree, or a frog. We decided to use the word cat for the four-legged animal that meows and purrs, and then we decided to not use any other word for that thing. The name cat would be fixed for that animal. And it also makes sense that human beings use different words for different things, because imagine if they had same words for everything. Imagine if everything was called cat. Cat was the noun, cat was the verb, and cat was everything else in a sentence. And sentences will sound like cat, 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 cat. How the hell would we make any meaning at all? Would language work? Would communication work through language? No. The entire system would collapse if difference was not there. Similarly, if a man was also called a man and a woman was also called man, how would we understand the concepts? If good was also good and bad was also good, how would we understand the difference and how would we make meaning? Right? So the concept of difference just makes sense, right? Now you'll say that some words do sound similar. Of course, they do, but they are similar and not same. Like and love are similar but not same. Being fond of someone and being affectionate of someone are close, but they are not same. They are similar but not the same. For example, in Schitt's Creek, when Moira says that the baby is now dormant and not asleep, does it not make you laugh? Sleep is sleep and dormant is dormant, and that's how language makes meaning. There are similar words but not same words. So you saw how words don't mean something because they are miraculously born with a fixed meaning, but they derive their meaning by virtue of their difference from other words and by a social agreement among the members of that language. So, Saussure's work was a major turning point, a massive turning point, because his concepts impacted not only language but also other fields. Like in semiotics, which is the study of signs, the red color in a traffic light is the signifier, and the concept of stop is the signified. In anthropology and cultural studies, a wedding ring is the signifier, and the idea of eternal love and commitment is the signified. In literature, think of Edgar Allan Poe's Raven. The bird is the signifier, and the idea of death, omen, and haunting memory is the signified. In fact, in everyday life, whenever you see a sign representing something, which is almost all the time, you can understand that in terms of signifier and signified. But you have to promise me that whenever you see the concepts of signifier, signified working in your own life this week, you will come back here and share it with me in the comment section. So you saw how Saussure's concepts of signifier and signified had lasting implications on the world to come, even after he was no more alive. And that is why we know Saussure as the father of modern linguistics and the father of structuralism. So this was it about the signifier and signified video. I hope that it helped you understand these concepts a little better, made them a little lighter for you. If yes, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on our new videos where we break down huge, complicated, difficult sounding concepts into smaller, simpler, bite-sized video explanations. Thank you so much for watching this. Have a great day.